Well, hello, my friends, and welcome, guys, to another edition of The Pulse. I'm Troy Brewer, and I'm coming at you strong from big-time Crowley, Texas, at this podcast center. Actually, one of the last days that we're going to be here because we've been working hard on our own podcast studio. And I want to tell you, I've really enjoyed being in this place. This has been a big deal for us. It was a big upgrade once we came into it. And now, guys, we're about to go into another one. And next week, guys, y'all are going to see my brand new studio. But buckle your seatbelts because, guys, we got a great show for you today. Before I tell you all about the show, I got a couple of beautiful ladies here that's going to help me remind you of some really cool things while other people are piling in and while they're diving in and jumping on. What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to subscribe. They're supposed to like. They're supposed to follow. They're supposed to push the bell, comment, share, right? Because, guys, like right now I can see that Shay is here. I can see Cherie is here. Janine is here. I don't know if any of you guys can see ODX. Who's in our ODX, specifically ODX.TV? Who's in there right now?
William Blair.
Hey,
Debbie
William Blair.
Smith.
Come on, Debbie.
Lisa Bennett. Sarah Spencer,
Yay.
Nancy Tucker. We have a lot.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of people jumping in. Listen, y'all are going to be glad that you did because we have two different segments for you here today. Actually, I should say three. The first one is going to be, I'm going to be talking to a very sweet friend of mine who I actually get to do life with. She's on staff with us. I'll introduce you here in just a second. She's going to tell you about our fight against how our entire education system has been corrupted as it was in the days of Noah and what we're doing about it. And then right after that, I'm going to have my good friend David Richardson is back, and he is the writer of the book of Transparent, who Connie first told me about it. She goes, look, this thing helped me find truth. The difference between what is an assumption and what is truth. And guys, we're talking about we're talking about asking the right questions this week. And that's a big part of my television show that's out on 5 different networks this week. Yep. As we're talking through the series 24
questions Jesus asked.
24 questions that Jesus asked. And so it's a great week for us to talk about asking the right questions. So joining me from directly across the table and just a little bit down is some say tomato, I say Tamayo. It's Rebecca Tamayo. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I think after being here 10 years, you said it right. Tamayo.
Yeah. You dang Skippy. You know what? You'll be old someday, little girl, and you'll see. You'll understand.
You said it good. You said it great, Pastor.
Well, thank you very much. I love you too. So you've been a big part of Vacation Bible School this week. It's going on. We got 300 youngins and younglings up there.
It is another level from last year. It gets better and better. Everything we're doing gets better and better, and it's just so awesome to see the children encounter Jesus, and this crowd is different. I loved it.
And so we got them from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
3:30 in the afternoon.
3:30 in the afternoon.
And we're feeding them lunch and snack.
Yeah. And dude, and the food is really great. I went through there while I go, and I grabbed a whole handful of chicken nuggets while I go. Yesterday, our kids are all happy. All my grandkids are there. Not all of my grandkids, but a bunch of my grandkids are there.
It's a blessing.
And they love it. And I mean, they're like in church every day. Yeah, so it takes a lot to impress them.
Mine are there every day. So,
yours are there every day. It takes a lot to impress them. I'll tell you what's impress them. A freaking monkey going across our stage. And then we had an alligator, a real live alligator.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
That's fun.
By the way, Ben, I got a call from Florida, and our gator skins are ready. They're supposed to be in today. So, man, I got to find a boot maker to make boots out of our gators we blasted in Florida last year. I got a 9-foot 6-inch alligator. Ben got an 11-foot 1. He got a 111. I got Goliath of Gath, 9'6". That's what that works out to. Ben got the old 111, and Luke got what did he get?
12.5.
He got a 12-foot 5-inch. Which we're having a full body mount. Takes 4 years for that to happen.
Wow.
Which would be great because I got to save up my money to build a house around it. I mean, where do you put a full body mount 12-foot alligator? Anyway.
Wow.
Part of what it means, part of the Troy Brewer experience. Right on? All right. Directly across from me is Miss Connie. How are you, Miss Connie?
I'm doing good.
It's good to see you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Blessing and peace on you. Hey, listen, I don't want to embarrass you, but you got something in your nose right
Oh,
here.
no, that's my nose piercing.
When did you do that? Where did you go get your nose pierced?
I've had my nose pierced since I was 18. That's the first thing I got done.
I don't think I have ever seen that before.
You have. I've had it out for a while.
I've noticed that you sneeze really funny. It's like, you sneeze and go, it takes a long time, but I didn't know that was why. Anyway, well, guys, what do we need to tell everybody very quickly before I introduce our first guest?
We want to tell everyone that we still have the Amazing 24 series that is available.
Yep.
You can buy the complete bundle on open or odx.tv.
Yep.
It includes the study guide, which is jam-packed full of Pastor Troy's notes. Also, additional notes that are not included with like what we upload online. You can get the DVD, the CD, or the digital downloads, or you can get all of them in a simple one bundle that's just $50. So if you're interested, go check it out.
Yep, and guys, we're always trying to get people to help us, man, in feeding these 4,000 children that we're responsible for taking care of now, and the new kids that we rescue every single week, and then just all the craziness. Like we dug a new water well in Cambodia last week. Leanna has a whole nother rescue center in Chennai, India that I just got the pictures from, and they're actually calling it the Leanna Brewer. I said, no, you're going to have to admit it. It's going to have to be now the Dr. Leanna Brewer Child Rescue Center in Chennai, India. And so anyway, yeah, Leanna is now Dr. Leanna, right on.
That's awesome.
And she does just seem smarter to me somehow.
She is.
It's like the Wizard of Oz gave her a certificate, and then, you've got what? No. Actually, she's worked really hard for that. And I don't know what that bald-headed person is doing down there. It's like he's taking a picture or something, but nothing but a big bald head down there at the bottom. Anyway, that's Leanna, and she is Dr. Leanna Brewer now, and that's awesome. Guys, quickly, before we move on, I have a really awesome video. If you've not seen this, there are several go-to videos that I have where I just want to stay tapped into the joy of the Lord. The joy of the Lord is my strength, and I deal with a lot of bad information, just like everybody else. Being a CEO and being a senior pastor and being a dad and being a grandpa and all this kind of stuff, you have to have some things that are your go-to, that are just your go-to, where you find the joy of the Lord, where the Holy Spirit hits you. Guys, this is a video, and I'm going to talk you through this. Ladies, I want to show you this because this is one of those special rides that are out there, and that's Aunt Janice. Now, this young man, he's a little bit worried. Now, even though he's a big boy, he's a young kid. Now, listen, no chance of going to fall out, Janice. She said, if you fall out, you die. So she's a prophet of doom already. So I promise you, Aunt Janice is the problem aunt in the family. I promise you.
Sure.
She is the problem. So listen, this is going to happen. Keep your head back. All right, we're doing good so far until this. Boom, there's the problem. Okay.
So bad.
Stop it.
Janice is no help whatsoever. Okay, that's enough. Listen, I want to tell
Poor
you.
kid.
I'm going to tell you, this kid was not harmed in the making of this video. whatsoever.
No one was harmed.
He didn't spit out. Now, I want to tell you, Barrett had kind of an incident with me like that last week, but Barrett was a lot cooler than that. Barrett and I, we were at Silver Dollar City in Breslin, Missouri. I was doing the Jim Baker show, and by the way, I think all those are about to come out. I think one comes out on the 3rd and one comes out on the 5th on the PTL network. And then, friends, we're going to replace all those on odx.tv. And there's me expounding on my wisdom. Actually, I'm doing a Google cheat. I'm doing an AI thing. Every time they ask me a question, I just go, "Hey AI, tell me this," and that's how I roll. That's not true at all. But anyway, man, we were up there. So guys, we went to Silver Dollar City. I took that little boy there, and he wanted to ride the meanest, baddest motor scooter that they have up there. And it's called the Time Changer, and it goes through 3 or 4 loops, and it also does some loops like this, and then it does 3 loops like that. It's a big, steel, modern roller coaster, and then the car does a spin. So like the car moves like this, but it also does this. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Does like that. So meaning if you start off in the front, because they have 2 seats facing one way and then 2 seats that are back to back on every single one of those cars. And I mean, the brother's 11 years old, man. And he's like, "Come on, Papa, let's go. And I'm like, "You gonna talk this old man into riding with that? My blood pressure is gonna be high for the rest of the day. My back's gonna hurt." Like, okay, but it's a cool Papa moment. So I get on there. Leanna and his mom, Brandy, are back to back with us. We're literally in the first car, and we're in the second row of seats, which means we're facing the opposite direction. When this thing started to go over, it turned around to where he and I we're at the front, and for a second, you just dangle over this edge. And man,
No.
oh my gosh.
Poor
Listen,
parent.
the brother, listen, he's only 11 years old. And I'm telling you, he manned up and he rode that thing, which I didn't want to. Okay. I don't want y'all thinking I don't want to get into your hate mail or some terrible something in a box. I'm telling you, that little boy talked me into it. I didn't talk him into it. But then we get on this thing, and then we went off. And once we went through the first loop and we came around, all of a sudden he got real quiet, and his arms would just go up. Then they go down, and his arms go up. That's because the brother passed out. He straight up passed out. And I was like, wake up. And I was slapping him around. Wake up. And I was shaking him. Wake up. Wake up.
There
And
it is.
yeah, there it is. That's actually the ride. Way to go in finding it, man. Way to go.
Goodness.
Okay, can you see those cars, how they actually spin
Wow.
around?
That's so
And
different.
Yeah, that's the one that we actually went on. Way to go in finding that. Okay, the brother was completely unconscious. Completely. I'm talking about
Poor baby.
passed out. And then there comes a place where it's actually right there at the bottom of this picture where it comes through and it goes, and it stops for a minute. And then it gets on this other chain, and then it starts to go up this real long thing, right? Well, he came conscious, and it's like, and he's like, and I'm like, are you good, man? He goes, Papa, I think I fell asleep. I said, no, sir, you passed out. So you just completely passed out. And I said, but it's all good, man. You did great. He goes, that was so much fun. That was awesome. And then we started moving again. He goes, it's not over. I said, no, sir.
Parent.
No, sir, it's not over. And then the brother passed out again. Once we went through the next, he completely passed out again. And then as soon as we landed, as soon as it stopped, it goes, gang, 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 gang. And it stops. I was like, what? Hey, I was like, hey, man, we're done. We're done. This way, dude. He was like, and he goes, woo! Yeah. I was like, there you go. It was so cool. It was greatness. Well, guys, I have a friend that's sitting here next to me today, and my friend actually works with me. She's on staff. She's one of the hardest workers we have. Brandy Smoker is a jack of all trades, and just like anybody that works for me, she came on board to do one job, and now she does 50 other jobs, and it just turns out. Now, you've heard me berate Trey from the stage, and I'm like, because Trey likes to sit right in front of me because he wants to have my full attention. He wants to distract me. He wants to make fun of me the whole time I'm preaching. So I always return it back to him. But he's always sitting next to his beautiful bride because she's the one that brings class into the family. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted you on board with us, Brandy, because I knew that you'd bring a little bit of class, man.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you. You know, Trey, when our kids were little, he would make them get on the roller coasters.
Oh, would he?
Yeah.
He's terrible. That's terrible. Who would do that? Ben.
Well, see-
Ben's over there like, Dad, you made me get on everything. Yeah, I did. I did, but I ain't making my grandkids get on anything. My kids, no, man. If I'm paying money for Six Flags, we're riding
That's
it.
right.
Man, it's too daggum expensive. We're not going to go up there and watch everybody. We can do that at the house, man. Let's go. No, but I ain't making my grandkids ride anything. It's a different gig.
Yeah, we'll see how he is as a grandpa.
Yeah, I'll hate you. He'll be great. He'll be awesome.
he will.
He'll be a big old pushover. Well, okay, so we're here to talk today about a special ministry that you head up at Open Door Church. And before we tell everybody about the specifics of our ministry, let's talk about just education here for a minute because you're an educator.
I am. Yes.
Right on.
Yes, I have been an educator in the public schools and also homeschooled my kids for about 6 years. And then I was also an educator in the private Christian school. And so I love education. Love it.
Believe it
I
or
mean-
not, I do too.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
too.
I even like those teacher workshops, the training classes you have to go to. I'm just a nerd.
Just
I am.
nerd alert.
I'm a nerd.
Full-blown educator nerd right here. And that's exactly what we need is people that love that live that understand it. And then what we have seen, since I think that you graduated, didn't you graduate from Burleson?
I did.
Yeah, and you were class of 71?
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
1992.
Okay,
Thank you very
92.
much.
All right. Well, anyway, I graduated in 85. That was my class, was 85. And you graduated. School was very different when we were in school.
It was.
And you have seen the great change over the past 35 years.
Yes. I started getting really disheartened with just the standardized testing as a teacher and just the toll that it took on the teachers and then seeing what it was doing to the kids and how it was just ruining the love of learning for them. And and how we would use those test scores to decide where they were in their education. And that's when I really started to get disheartened.
No longer about the value that the teacher brings, no longer about the atmosphere of the room, no longer about any of those things, but actually about passing a government test and being a part of a government system, which makes you the government mule. And boom, it happened. And then as soon as that happened, all this other hell came in, because those things are conductive with these other things.
That's right. And in 2020 especially, I was teaching then, and when we had to go remote, and even at a private school, a private Christian school, they were doing all the things, the masks, and trying to separate the kids, and it's isolating, really, and it just wasn't a good environment. And so after that year, I just started thinking about what it would look like if I started my own school. And
then enter Open Door Church.
That's right. Well, I talked with Leanna about this months before it actually even came to pass. And I was thinking, when I first talked to her, I was thinking, okay, if I'm going to do this, I've got to go back and get my master's degree in administration and, do all these things. And then I was actually at a worship night at Open Door, and it was a prophetic worship night, and someone came up to me and said, God has already given you the victory. And I knew exactly what that meant for me. And it's like, there's nothing that I have to do to qualify to do what he's called me to do.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And it was not too long after I talked to, or after that happened, that you actually mentioned, I think to Pastor Doug, I want to get a school in here. I want to get a school in here. And Leanna said, talk to Brandy.
Yep,
because
that's what she said.
I'd already been talking to her about it, months before. And we put it together. We put something together within a summer with a group of, just a team of people. And so I'm just so thankful to Open Door Church because you guys have made it to where we could do it. But it's grown since then. We started out just more like homeschool families, just a resource center for them. And now we're a full-blown academy.
Okay, well, yeah, congratulations to you, by the way, in pulling that off and for making it look easy and for doing it with joy and for doing it with excellence.
Yeah.
Really big deal.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so let's talk about the excellence of this. Number one, we want to support families who are willing to be 100% a part of their child's education, because we truly believe you cannot turn your kids' education over to anybody else anymore.
That's right.
You have to be involved in it. Whether you're in a public school system or even a private school system, you can't just go into autopilot and just expect that to turn out. It's going to be okay. It's not going to be okay.
That's right.
It won't. They will be infiltrated. There's a super good friend of mine that is a clinical psychologist, and she is a child psychologist. She's a Christian psychologist. She's done psychology at Open Door and helped a lot of our victims, and she's done amazing things. They have homeschooled their kids their whole life because her daughter was in a basketball program. And next level basketball, they put their kid in school. She was in school 1 week. She quit eating, talking about 5 days, public school here locally. She quit eating, quit talking, quit all that. And like, what's going on? She said, well, I discovered something about myself since I started this school. And I said, what? And she said, I'm pansexual.
Yeah.
They were able to convince her in 7 days, 5 days, Monday through Friday and Monday and Tuesday, because a counselor spotted her, knew that she was vulnerable, knew that the other kids were not talking to her yet, brought her in and started talking to her about her sexuality and convinced that little girl that she was pansexual. Meaning, hey, if I feel like having sex, with this or this right here or this, that's just what's going to happen. She was taught that in our school system by a predator counselor.
Yep.
Okay, I fight sexual trafficking all over the planet Earth. In a town right next to us, just right next to the town that we're at, the woman that taught sex ed there turned out to be a prostitute.
Oh,
Wow.
whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, no, listen, you can't. I'm telling you, we have such a sexualized society today. We cannot trust our kids anymore. We have to be personally involved. And so that was the model that you brought. So tell us about this model.
Yes. So we call it a collaborative model. And basically what that means is that we have full instruction on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So they come to school just like they would, like 9 to 4. We have all the classes offered. All the core classes offered, and then, but but our teachers, they communicate what that goes on in the classroom and then what needs to be completed at home. Okay. And so that, and so then the parent, and we also have some availability on Mondays and Wednesdays that they can come in with a tutor.
Okay, so listen, our time's up on this segment, and it goes by so fast, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just too fast. Once we have our own studio, which we will after tomorrow's broadcast, we can do a much longer format, which I'm so happy about. But I know that people are intrigued with this. I know that there's pastors talking about, you know what, we need something like that in our school. I know that there's people that are interested in finding out how can they be involved or how can they look into getting their kids. How do they get a hold of you and how does that work?
Well, they can email me. brandy.schmoker@odx.tv if they have specific questions. But we also have a website. It is odx.academy is the name of our website.
odx.academy. Okay. Guys, also, too, you can always call us at 877-413-0888, which is our prayer line. But if you ask them, hey, what was her email address? What was this? How do I get a hold of that? You know what? Somebody will find out and they'll get that to you. But it's just a good excuse, man, for me to get you to pray about our kids, our education system. Remember to pray for Brandy Smoker. Not only does she have the mantle in our church of taking care of children's education, but she also is married to Trey Smoker, and she needs a lot of prayer. So I encourage you guys to be in prayer for her. Brandy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Brandy.
It's a great privilege to have you. All right. Well, there you go. A little bit from the Open Door Academy. And guys, odx.academy, odx.academy is where that thing is at. And as always, you can call us at 877-413-0888. Guys, accreditation, full-blown teachers, the real deal, and bringing it, guys. We're not just sitting around wringing our hands going, well, we wish something bad wasn't happening. What we're saying is we will answer evil with the goodness of God. And goodness requires hard work. Amen, amen.
So you mentioned tomorrow's broadcast.
Yes.
And it's special because it's not on a normal Tuesday or Wednesday for the Pulse.
And it's also at a special time.
Yeah.
Now, that one threw me.
We wanted to get her in however we could, and that's what worked for her schedule.
That's what you do. I totally get it. So tomorrow at 12 o'clock, Miss Connie, tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're doing a special broadcast. It's going to be across all forms of our media. We're going to talk to her for 1 hour, and then you're going to come up with 1,000,000 questions. And then, boom, we're going to go behind the veil for our stage 2 and stage 3 at the 1 hour mark. And then everybody's going to get to ask her questions. It is Dr. Laura Sanger.
Woot, woot. Oh, my gosh. So excited.
Oh, man. It's going to be crazy cool. Okay, so I listened to a podcast with her this morning coming in. So we've all been prepping all week. And so we've been like overdosing on Dr. Laura Sanger's stuff. And oh my gosh. She was talking about mapping out territory.
Wow.
Yeah, spiritual mapping.
Wow.
She's a really big intercessor.
So because all of heaven is mapped out and all the earth is mapped out, and there's been dominion and authority within the heaven and within the earth that has been mapped out. And she's like, how should I specifically pray and what needs to happen here? Wow. Now, she sounds like a nut when I start talking like that. Like, she must be a nut. I'm telling you, this is the smartest lady I think she's also the most articulate. And she is also one of the best storytellers ever. Wow. This lady is the full deal. And she's got this crazy cool book, The Roots of the Federal Reserve, Tracing the Nephilim from Noah to the United States Dollar. Okay, and look, when she puts together a book, like all my books have like 36 pages. This one is
not true.
This one.
You do have it.
Look, I just thumbed like that and I stopped. It says page 413, and it's big pages. Oh, dude, wait. I'm telling you, an hour's not going to be enough. I'm going to want to talk to her all day long. I've already got 2 specific questions that I'm going to ask her that are like, okay, look, I figured this out, that out. I know how this works. I know how that works, but I do not know how this works. What are your thoughts on it? I have a couple of those.
It's going to be good.
One has to do with the devil and the sons of God in Job chapter 1. Okay. Right on.
Such a good question.
So, and how are they in cahoots, and what is that all about, right? Anyway, you'll see. I've got some great questions.
It's going to be powerful, and I just can't wait for her to be introduced to us for the first time, because I know she's going to love us.
So, friends, be a media missionary and join us, and then share all that. All right, let's get to today's guest.
Yes, let's.
Okay, because we gone through a lot of time. This guy's been very patiently waiting all the way from south of Atlanta. Guys, today joining us is Well, he's got this book. First of all, this guy got on my radar through Connie. Connie is a prolific reader. She reads all kinds of different stuff. You might look over at her and she might have a book on angels and Nephilim or demons or something, and then you look over and she's reading a Louis Lamar book,
Who is my favorite? He's my absolute favorite.
And then she goes from there and she's reading Old West historical things, or she might be reading one of my books or some biblical theology or whatever. She's, this is one of my daughters in the Lord, and she flat out, I'm telling you, I'm so like that. I love lots of stuff. She comes across this guy, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I really need this. What is this? And how to see through the powerful assumptions that control you. And I just point blank asked her, so I'm going to ask you again, how did this book, what was the big takeaway that you got from this book?
It was being able to get to the root of a matter and not even have to fully understand all the ins and outs of a certain agenda or a certain mindset, but being able to see that, okay, this is the assumption behind that, this is the root behind that, so I know where it's going to end up. And it's not truth, or this is the assumption, this is the root. I know where it's going to end up, and it is truth. It matches with the biblical truth that we ascribe to.
The last time he was here with us, he spoke for the whole hour, and we have that. That's in the archives at odx.tv. Just go there and look for the episode on transparent, or I don't know, assumptions. I don't even remember what the title's called, but it's David W. Richardson Jr. and friends. He's here with us today. Hello, brother David. What's going on, man?
Hey, Troy. It's great to be with you again.
I'm so, man, brother. Thank you for being so patient through the first 20 minutes of this. I'm so sorry it took so long.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
My pleasure to be with you.
Hey, it's a great privilege to have you here with us again, sir. So thank you. So last time that we were together, well, first of all, before we carry off into this, would you please tell everybody about your Assumptions Institute, about Transparent, and a little bit about you?
Of course. Assumptions Institute is a ministry I started about 9 years ago after spending 30 years on the staff of Campus Crusade for Christ.
Wow.
I worked with them for almost 20 years with college professors, which is a very unique kind of ministry. I never really worked with students. I'm one of these oddballs that said, well, let's just tackle Mount Everest. And we go after the professors and want to see them become Christ followers and help those who are believers to minister to their students and coworkers and bring truth from God and the Bible into their teaching and research. And so I learned a lot by doing it, practical theology, and along the way trying to solve a particular problem to help professors connect their faith to what they do. I developed this technique, because most people, even if they are a professor, say of physics or economics or something like that, they're very knowledgeable on a very narrow area, 20 miles deep. Yes. But not as well versed as you and I would be in things related to theology, philosophy, other things like that. Looking for a simple way to help them make those connections from truth from God and the Bible to what they do in the classroom in major universities. And along the way, develop this technique that is so simple. I can teach it to middle schoolers in a couple of hours. All they have to do is practice it with a phone app, and they can develop their own critical thinking skill. But it's so powerful that I can use it in major university classrooms with professors, and they can bring truth from God and the Bible into their teaching and research in ways that are plausible, and relatable, and legal. And it works.
There is actually an assault upon critical thinking today, and I mean it's blatant. It is absolutely blatant. That if you are going to be, unless you drink their Kool-Aid and unless you go along with what they do, then, if you challenge that with true, logical, critical thinking, then obviously you're labeled as an enemy. It's crazy.
Yes.
Okay, so that ought to tell us. That ought to tell us something.
Well, it's not only that, but the system actively discourages people from thinking for themselves. Wow. The general ethic today is non-judgment. Oh, I'm not judging you, man. Oh, no, don't judge me. That's the way that the people tend to respond. And what that means is not just don't be judgmental. It means don't make judgments. as in don't differentiate between this is right, this is wrong, this is true, this is not. It's just emote. It's rely on your feelings. Accept everything is true. But of course, if everything is true, then nothing is true. And so then we have a difficult problem connecting truth from God in the Bible to real world issues because everybody decides for themselves what truth is. That's the crisis of truth that we're dealing with today. And that's why we develop these training courses at learntodiscern.com/pulse24 so that we can help equip people with this skill that's largely lost today.
Okay, listen, I'm all about it. And Brother David, when I say this, I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. These guys know this. One of the things that I feel like I have a mission to do is to get people activated, to get people convinced. And whenever as we work with pastors throughout the planet Earth, one of the things I see is they don't know how to make decisions. They just don't know how to make decisions. And I'm like, you have got to learn this. You've got to learn, if you're going to be a good leader, then you're going to have to learn how to make good decisions. And then when it comes to the congregations that I deal with all over the world and getting them activated, they have to be able to know what's real and what to prioritize. And if they don't know those basic things, how to make decisions, know what's real and know what to prioritize, and then know what to do accordingly, man, the devil will just eat your lunch.
No, that's for sure.
Well, this is so helpful.
That is the main issue is it's not just truth that's at stake, it's reality itself.
Wow.
Because, when, you ask somebody, why is this true? You ask, well, why is the Bible true? It claims to be true. Well, is it true just because it claims that it's true? Because the Quran claims to be true also.
That's right.
But they're very, very different kinds of books. One of them's true, the other's not.
Right.
They can't both be true. And likewise, the Siddhartha or the Vedas. I mean, those all claim to be true. But how do you know it's true? Is it true because you accept it as true or believe that it's true? That's not what makes something true.
Correct.
The first basic thing that I try to teach people is that true things match real things, and real things are true. So if you were looking at me right now, and if I was to say, isn't this a beautiful orange shirt that I'm wearing today? And you'd say, what? That's not an orange shirt. That's a navy blue shirt. Well, of course, because what I said about the real shirt that's really there didn't match. That's how your brains work. That if you say something that doesn't match reality, then what you said is false. True things match real things. And the big issue is not so much truth. The big question is reality. What's really real? Any of you guys
So good.
all-knowing people? Nobody all-knowing here. So there's a limit to what we know and don't know. And when we reach the limit, all you have to do is spend 5 minutes with my granddaughter, and you'll find out what that limit is. Why, Grandpa? Well, it's because of this. Well, why is that? Well, it's because of that. And eventually you reach the place where you say, I don't know, it just is. When you get there, I don't know, it just is. You're moving into assumptions territory.
Wow.
You are assuming something to be real that you don't know, because if you knew it, you wouldn't have to assume it. But we all get there eventually. And it's not a matter of if you assume, it's what you assume, how you assume, and whether that assumption is true, and whether it matches reality. But what is reality? That's a big, big question. That's the thing that people don't know.
Let me ask you this. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if we know what reality is and what reality is not? Why? Who cares?
Because because if reality is nothing more than a construct of the mind, then you're talking to yourself right now. I'm not here.
Yeah,
you're just having a conversation with yourself. You're a prisoner in a reality of your own making.
So it's the matrix, and so this is exactly why we have to know what is real and what is not real.
You preach
think
about
upon
that
these things,
a lot.
whatsoever things are true, right? So we have to know what is real and what is not real so that we can know who we're serving and who we're not serving. And then we have to make a choice as to who we're going to serve and and which kingdom are we actively going to participate in? What kind of life am I going to live? And if you don't know what reality is in the midst of all that, you are not free to make those kinds of decisions.
Wow.
Of course. The first truth taught in the Bible is a statement about reality. in the beginning, God created. So it's not just in the beginning God, but in the beginning God created. There's actually two realities. God is not the universe. The universe is not God. They're two distinctly different things.
Wow.
And if those
That's
are
brilliant.
If that's reality, if there's a created reality that contains both physical and non-physical things, and then there's a creator who's distinctly different from that, that changes everything.
That's good. All right, listen, friends, it's time for us to move behind the veil. And once we go behind the veil, we are going to ask very specific questions. We're all loaded for bear. This is all about critical thinking. It's about knowing the truth. It's about knowing what's real. It's about understanding the difference between the two and understanding that God has given you the tools to be able to tread that path. And what's real is this guy has given us some amazing. Okay, this guy has his own app. Let me just do that. Not only does this guy have a book, but this guy also has his own app so that in everything, if you're like, okay, I'm full of anxiety. Like, why are you full of anxiety? Well, because I feel like something bad is going to happen today. Why do you feel like something bad is going to happen to you today? And we could go on and go on and go on until you finally get to a place where you go, this is not real. I don't have to serve this. Okay, brother, how does everybody get your stuff at Assumptions Institute? How do we do that?
Well, all of our training resources, including the phone app and the book, you can all find at learntodiscern.com/pulse24. There's links for downloading the app. There's the book, of course, and also all of our training courses that we've developed that are specifically designed to help regular people acquire this skill and use it in real-world situations. We have our Essentials series. We also have a semester-long course where you can do a deep dive into this assumptions-based methodology for Christian schools, for homeschools and homeschool co-ops. We want to equip our kids to be able to think for themselves.
Okay, give us that website one more time.
Absolutely. It's learntodiscern.com/pulse24.
Connie, I have 5 different books right here from this book, and we want to put this in people's hands. What do people got to do to be able to get one of these books? Because we're going to be giving some of these away today, and this one's autographed.
Yeah, all of them are actually. So they're super special, autographed by both you and David Richardson.
How do you like that, David? I'm autographing your books now. You like that, man? I'm just taking credit. You know, that's what you do. All right, go ahead.
And so what you do, if you're interested in getting a copy, one of these signed copies of the book, then what you would do is, if you are not yet partnered with us on ODX, we are asking that you sign up for either stage 2 or stage 3, and you would call in. You'd say, hey, I'm calling in to move up to stage 2 or move to stage 3 or sign up for the very first time, and I'm wanting to get the transparent book. And for our partners that are already partnered with us on ODX.TV, if you call in and you give $20 or more as a gift, you can still get the book. So just make sure, however you do it, you call in. If you just do it online, we're not going to be able to be like, oh, well, they're giving for the book. So make sure that you call us at 877-413-0888.
And friends, we're celebrating that we just rescued our 11,000th child. Woo! So right on. So all my friends, all my partners, everybody that's out there that's standing with us, guys, we're still taking on hell with the water pistol, and we're still rescuing kids. And friends, now it's time for us to go back behind the veil, because we got to hurry up and do that. Right on. Do you guys have anything that you want to say before we go behind the veil?
Just make sure that you are going to be tuning in with us tomorrow for Dr. Laura Sanger when she's on our special episode of The Pulse.
Okay, at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, at 12 o'clock high noon. Join us. All right. Okay, so friends, if you are already watching this exclusively on ODX.TV as a Stage 2 or Stage 3 level member, just hold on to your hat. For everybody else, guys, I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you on this social media network tomorrow. I would encourage you guys to go back over to ODX. God bless you, my friends.